Augustana hockey on the road for the second straight weekend, and here to break it all down once again is head coach Garrett Raboin. You guys were at Michigan Tech, the CCHA preseason favorites. Unfortunately, an 0-2 weekend, but some very close and competitive games. 6-4 loss on Friday, 4-3 loss in overtime on Saturday. When you look back at the weekend in totality, what was your overall assessment?
Well, I think it was a great weekend for our guys to learn and grow. It was the first time on the road where we had encountered an environment like that. We showed a little bit of emotional youth in some of those big moments where the crowd maybe crept in and affected our play. We were much better on Saturday. I felt like we competed in both games. Some crazy caroms, unfortunate goals, but happy with how we competed. We give up one with 20 seconds left in the third with their goalie out on Saturday, and then they score in 3-on-3, which is ultimately a skills competition, more of a tie than anything pairwise. But still, we got to finish the job in that game, and as long as we learn from it, I think all in all, a good weekend for us to take something and grow from.
Yeah, as you said, you guys competed in both games. You had a lead in both games. We'll break them down one by one starting on Friday. Scoring barrage in the first. You're up 4-2 after the first 20 minutes. They get 3 in the second to lead 5-4. Pretty much a standstill in the third. They get an empty netter late. It kind of felt like 3 different games in one. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and you're right on. I mean, we came out of the gates. We've been every game having different guys emerge. We had a couple bubble up there, and their talent showed, putting us up 4-2. And then the second period, again, they had 2 5-minute majors in the first, so we were on the power play a lot. Now, we have 4 minor penalties in the second, and you spend so much time defending, you're disjointed in your line matchups. And then the third period, I think they probably played one of their best periods of the year. We had a little fight back, but not enough.
Yeah, it ends up being a 6-4 game, but again, an empty netter late when you guys are trying to get the equalizer. Move over to Saturday, tough throughout. It's 3-2 late in the third period, and they did to you guys what you did against Denver. They, pressed and scored a goal late to tie it.
Yeah, and I thought our guys played well, and that was the challenge. Was, we gotta just stay bulletproof. Can't let the crowd get into it. We got to be intelligent. No stick penalties, and we did a great job for the most part. And then right at the end there, they actually score on the power play 5-on-3. We answer back. Hennon with a great shot from the point. And then 20 seconds left, they get one short side. And then again in the overtime, it's 3-on-3, and one of their top players makes a play.
Just a quick question in terms of strategy for overtime, with it being 3-on-3, and as you mentioned, kind of more of a skills competition. How does that dictate who you put out there, at least initially?
There's 2 trains of thought. You can either go to fight to get the shootout and just stash away a tie, or else you go for it. Some set you put out there might be more defensive than others. Sure. We liked our guys out there. They run a little bit of a pick play, which is legal to some extent, and find a little bit of space. And one of their top players puts one 5-hole. And it was a huge weekend for those guys. They're a good team, really good team, and I think they're going to have a pretty successful season. But most importantly, our guys that were able to live in some of those moments, huge. A lot of guys. We have some guys that have been in them. They look like they've been in them, but then we have quite a bit more that haven't been in anything like that. And again, we have to take it for what it is, and we have to get better from it.
And best news for you get a new opportunity this weekend. You're on the road for the third straight weekend. You're at Lindenwood. They were a new team last year. They had club hockey for many years before, but it was a new team to NCAA hockey last year. First assessment of the Lions.
Well, they're going to play hard. They're in your face all game long. They've had tremendous goaltending, and they're in it. They're a year ahead of us in terms of being a Division I program. Now we're going to their barn. Again, we're expecting a great atmosphere. And a good test. Again, a good test for us to play a real good game our way, and the result will fall, we hope.
As you've said time and time again, you learn more and more about this team each weekend. You like to compete, you like the fight this weekend. What was kind of the attitude, the mood of the team afterwards? I know no one likes to lose, but how did they feel afterwards?
Well, what they're doing is they're gaining expectations, and they're setting a standard for themselves. And they're obviously disappointed because they felt like both of those games were winnable. So they were big time disappointed. But as we move into a new week, and we're going to be on the road here Wednesday, right in front of our face. Especially when you talk about a process, you can't It can't be high, it can't be low. It has to be right down Broadway, and you got to stay with it. We're not going to have this manic ebb and flow, big wins, big losses. We have to just live in the moment and continue to fight to get better, and that's really all we can do.
All right, well, best of luck this upcoming weekend. It's a 2-game set at Lindenwood. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.